This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. Today, our guest is Michael Makabi. Thanks for being on the show, Michael.
Thank you very much, Whitney, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm honored to have you on the show. I know you have some exciting things going on where you're going to be able to teach us many things today we're going to improve different aspects of our business that are so important, really, no matter what business you're in. But Michael is an unorthodox tech entrepreneur, arbitrage maverick, commercial real estate educator, broker, investor, and syndicator. The message behind his latest book, titled My Real Estate Bible, is to help as many people as possible leverage the power of technology and commercial real estate through multifaceted progressive strategies to create financial prosperity. And that's his book, by the way, not mine. That's his book. And so, Michael, appreciate your time very much in being on the show. Tell us your focus right now. Let's dive into a couple of your specialties that are going to help the listener today.
Sure, absolutely. Again, so I wanted to thank you and appreciate the opportunity to be able to share some of my little golden nuggets that I've accumulated over 17 years of being in this game. Just a short background for those who don't know me. I started out as a realtor, as a broker when I was 17, 18, but from there moved into wholesaling, had a couple other businesses along the journey. And today, my focus is syndication. And the way I choose to syndicate, which I think is different than what's really been taught out there, is I'm kind of after the underdog, the little guys out there, and not so much the Grant Cardones, the guys making a lot of noise in the market, or the Blackstones of the company, of the industry, excuse me. So my emphasis is as follows. Finding a deal is really where it all starts. It's the birth, it's the genesis of all of this. And I spent really millions of dollars to this day in trying to dissect and understand the nucleus of what is the best way to find an opportunity, this off-market deal that everyone's trekking after. And after really years and all that money, we ended up developing our own method with a lot of heavy hardship to get to the point where we have this unique understanding of how to find it. We've basically built our own technology platform, which is called One Property Market, the number one propertymarket.com, which anyone's welcome to go visit. And the idea behind it really started from my brokerage. When I was hiring and training people, I suffered. And I'm sure a lot of people out there that are business owners understand the concept of management of salespeople. It's a nightmare. Hiring people is a disaster. Training people, you should take 2 bullets and shoot yourself in the head with. And then worrying about the management of those people, because really salespeople fall under 3 categories, I like to say. Someone you hire, whether they're a newbie or novice, they end up staring at the wall. They came in, they think you thought that they were up to, you could do this amazing job. They end up doing nothing. You end up firing them or they quit. The middle guy ends up making his quota, right? You wanted to set out to reach this number. They hit this number and then like, all right, I'm going to Thailand. I made enough money. I'm happy. And then you got the overachievers, the guys that just kill it. You give them a marker and then they just go beyond all expectations. But then the problem becomes, they're like, Mike, I don't need you anymore. I figured this out. I'm going to go and open up my own shop. So they leave you. And then you're in this constant influx of trying to juggle these 3 types of personalities. So once we went through hundreds, literally, of people, recruits, trainees, I realized I want out of this game. I don't want to, in order to scale, which is my dream to become this huge conglomerate, I don't want to be the controller, the Saddam, as I like to say it, the tyrant of this operation. I would rather try to shift my perspective. And what I quickly learned and realized is if you don't have an added value outside of your time and your expertise that you can offer people, then you're really a ticking time bomb. So what I ended up doing is I took a lot of my initial capital that
Will you say that again there? If you don't do what, you're a ticking time bomb?
If you don't have an added value outside of your skill set, your time, your expertise, which a lot of us are trading our services, our abilities to the people that we employ or people we work with, then eventually, like a magician, any good magic trick, once people figure it out, they'll be like, all right, I'm done with you. And you got nothing else to provide, they'll walk and you lose. So you're in this perpetual fight, right? Trying to show what is your added value. For me, with salespeople, I realized none of these people, and salespeople, no matter how aggressive they are, entrepreneurs, they all like to be fed. And what do they like to be fed? Opportunities, leads. If you can create the circumstance where you're chronically able to feed these hyenas, these salespeople, these go-getters out in the world, then they have a dependency. They're all interested in staying with Mike. Why? Because Mike is giving them something they have no interest in seeking on their own. Because it's a lot of work. Anyone that's pounded the pavement, that's done any kind of canvassing in your life, cold calling, mailers, online marketing, if you have the luxury of spending money, it's been death, even with capital. It's marketing and advertising is a bitch. So having someone else take that burden, having that someone else feed you is a huge luxury. And anyone with half a brain that understands that is going to take advantage. So I figured this out. I said, all right, I'm going to take my money, my little nugget that I've created in my young life, and instead of just going to just buy more deals or trying to become a real estate landlord and syndicator, I'm going to go and build my own tech company. And that's what we did with One Property Market. And we ended up creating an amazing lead generation platform amongst many other things that it does, with the focus of it being finding off-market opportunities. And the emphasis is we source our leads from two main providers that I'm happy to provide to everybody here because we don't sell data. We partner with data providers. Reonomy.com, which is an amazing company. And I've been with this company since its birth. The owner, Richard Sarkis, he's a young dude around our age, great guy, very talented. He was the inceptor of this platform, and he did something revolutionary. He allowed average people, small firms, investors, to buy property owner contact information at the highest level, which CoStar was the only dominator in the market for the last 30 years to provide any kind of property owner data. Reonomy came in and kicked its ass and is providing a massive value. So I partnered with them, became a heavy consumer of their services, and I use their data and I put it into our platform, and I deploy thousands, if not tens. We probably do about 1 million outbound messages a month in text message marketing and ringless voicemail marketing, which is a blessing that we have the ability to do that. We have that scalability. And we do this all over the country for ourselves and for our partners. And this is where it comes in, the syndication idea comes in. There are a lot of folks out there, small business owners under $5 million, that are dying to deploy capital into real estate. They just don't know how. They're worried about giving it to a REIT, and you have to build rapport with them. So what I ended up doing is, outside of tech company, and that's why I'm on this podcast too, is to try to get the word out. I decided that I can handle 100 relationships. I could have 100 wonderful, solid partnerships with people where one person is on their own island, I'm on mine, and we complement each other and provide added value on the things that the other person's missing. Whether it be those 5 pillars: leads, finding opportunities, education, mentorship. They need someone to hold their hand to explain, how do you do this thing called real estate? There's realtors out there that are dying to transition from residential to commercial. They don't know how to do it. And there's a billion people out there that claim that they're gurus, but you're just going to end up buying some course and no one's going to hold your hand. So what I decided is, all right, I need salespeople, but I don't want salespeople. So instead, what I did is, I'm now on the hunt. I'm probably at number 27 right now, in all honesty. 27 people that I work with weekly, monthly, and I'm trying to get to 100 all over the country in different markets where I become their partner. I facilitate on what they're missing. If it's the education, if it's the lead gen, systems, give them all these things. And then also, if it's about how to do the arbitrage, if they're looking to broker deals, we'll broker deals. If they're looking to wholesale deals, I'll wholesale deals with them. Strictly, obviously, non-residential deals. If it's multifamily, my bread and butter has always been industrial real estate, which I also think is very, very quiet, not spoken about enough. There's only 1 million parcels in the country. It's a very tight market. It's a very lucrative business, especially if you go under, which is what I focus on, deals under $2 million. There's massive profit margins that you'll never get in multifamily property, which everyone's chasing multifamily because multifamily doors, cash flow, but where are you going to make, there was a deal, not to skip topics, but I'm going on a tangent. There was a deal I did in Los Angeles not a long time ago. It was a 2,000 square foot retail building in the Valley. I ended up coming across this deal using One Property Market, our system. I gave it to one of these partners that ended up taking my tactics, negotiated, tied it up, and we ended up selling it because it was just impossible not to sell in the middle of an assignment. We did an assignment to the neighbor. The deal was a $700,000 deal. We ended up selling it for 1.3 million, and it took us 90 days. And I'm saying to myself, where are you going to make $500,000, $600,000 in 90 days in multifamily property? You have to sit on that bastard for a while, refinance it out, do the capex, deal with raising equity, deal with getting the debt. There's so many steps along the way to do that. So I fell in love with this model. Find partners that either are at the beginning stage of their career in real estate, have a little capital. They're not like super newbies, but they have a little capital. They want to learn how to do it. Give them the tools through One Property Market, and then basically go and do deals with them. Go buy
Let's
deals.
talk about the lead generation piece. You're helping people with that to help the listener with lead generation. Help them think through some of the steps that are going to help them to move forward with that.
Listen, so everybody needs a list. You need a list provider. Okay, you got to decide on. First, you got to decide, like everyone says, a target market where you want to go. For me, I want it to be everywhere. So you got to pick your place. Where are you going to end up investing your capital? Then you need a list provider. So Reonomy is one source for those of you guys out there in the commercial real estate game. They have every type of asset. They just don't have condos and single family homes. If you are in that segment of real estate, there's PropStream, which is probably the best thing I found out there that you can get. Now, Reonomy will limit you. You will not be able to export more than 1,000 records a month with their subscription. If you need more, if you want to scale, you come to me. I have the ability to buy unlimited records a month. I have zero interest in making any money on selling data. It's also against my contract with them, but I'm trying to promote them because I think they're a great company. You need a list. Once you get a list, you need someone to sort that list, which is also a nightmare, just to let those of you guys who do the wholesale business. So we have a team. They will take that information because you're going to get, for one property, you might get up to 10, maybe 20 different potential phone numbers associated to it. What are you going to sit there, call every single phone number? You need an army to do that.
And you say we can get lists for commercial real estate in Reonomy, right? It's
yes,
not
you can.
Or just residential.
No, it's actually exclusively for commercial. It's a commercial real estate website. It's national, and they're going to be in Canada and the UK soon as well. But the idea behind the list gen is you buy the list. You maybe pay, it's probably an average cost is about 75 cents for commercial leads for parcel that you pull out. So it's not cheap, but it's also not that expensive, in my opinion. Once you get that list, you need to organize that list. So we can help you do that. We have great techs that end up organizing that data. You upload it into One Property Market. You can start a membership with One Property Market for as low as $300 a month. And then you can send unlimited. When I say unlimited, there is no restrictions on the amount of text, ringless voicemail, which are the two primary sources of means of advertising we focus on, because I'm a strong believer after doing everything I've done. Nothing beats cold calling. Cold calling is the number one thing out there, but you need an army to do it. So ringless voicemail is probably the next best thing to do that, as well as text messaging, which I think is 3 times more effective than ringless voicemail. So you got texting, you got ringless voicemail, you use the platform to deploy it. If you're not a tech person, if you really don't have the patience to do this, we have white glove services that will do all the annoying, tedious technological work for you, set up your campaign, and deploy it. So all you're going to have to do is actually just interact. The other thing is qualifying, which is another job. Someone needs to sit there and qualify all these leads. So I took the liberty to invest in AI. Our AI bots basically will, once an outbound campaign goes out and you say, hey, Mr. Owner, are you looking to sell your property? The person that responds, especially via text, the AI is going to be able to cipher through and say, this guy's interested in seeing an offer, this guy's not, this guy's the wrong number, etc. and so forth. So our bots will qualify or pre-qualify your leads for you so that all you really have to do is focus on talking to people that are actually relevant, interested, and ready to go. And you know they're the owner. You're not getting some Facebook ad lead. Your KPIs are killer. You can see from the beginning of inception, from buying the list, you can say, I got 10,000 parcels in this zip code in Miami. I know there's this many industrial buildings that I'm going after. You can do your criteria search. You can send out, you can know how many numbers got delivered, how many failed, how many people responded, favorably, how many said, go, look for something else, how many wrong numbers. All of that is in the system. So again, your focus becomes selling. Once you find the opportunity, this is where the syndication comes. I'm a very, very strong believer in syndication because there's no such profit margin in any other type of business model in real estate. Being the developer is a disaster. Being a rehabber is a disaster. Anything associated to construction to me is a disaster. The second I have to get married, umbilically cord connected to a project, I've lost. Everyone thinks they're a winner. I think you're a loser. Why? Because you can't scale. You're going to be stuck to the amount of time you're attached to that deal. So for me, I had to pick my hat. My hat is about acquisitions or dispositions. That's where I chose to live. I'm not in management. I have a team of people. I just send it off to them. I'm not in construction. I'm not in raising debt, or raising equity or finding the debt. I'm not interested in any of these things. So how do I do my deals? Syndication, Makabi style, Makabi style. I'm going to find the deal with my partner, and I'm going to educate this partner and say, listen, you got $1 million? Go buy it. We can buy it together. Great. That's one route. You're a real estate broker, trade your commission, take a nugget for a margin, and get your equity through sweat equity for finding the deal. You're doing wholesaling, you can make what I call anything above a broker commission, 5-6%. You can make more than that margin, like that deal I talked about was a 50% margin. Trade that, take some of it in cash from a new potential assignee, and then do what I do, which is instead of taking the cash, say, listen, I just made $500,000. You're going to pay me out that money if you want this deal, right? Don't pay me all of it. Give me 300 grand in cash and give me a 20% stake in this deal. And I have no interest in becoming the general partner. I'm going to be the limited partner. I'll be the fly against the wall. I'll be the spaghetti against the wall. I have no interest in controlling the deal, lease it, rehab it, construct it, kill yourself for it. Okay, go raise the equity, go do all that. I'm going to do whatever you do. Now, you don't have to be the limited partner, by the way. You could be the minority stake general partner. You don't just, the point is not to become the decision maker. And this is the psychological thing that most people don't understand about syndication. You think you lose control by losing control of the deal when you assign your position to that GP or the quarterback, that you become a nobody. That's not true. You're the smartest guy. And the best example is American Express. American Express lends out billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in credit. There is a very small percentage of people out there that don't pay their Amex bill. It's probably less than 5% from what my research is. And what do you learn from that? People are taking a risk. They're giving out credit. They're giving the deal away. And they know that a small percentage of people, like in any other business, are going to screw you. So if I have 10 syndication deals like this, because I'm just all about finding deals, I got so many deals coming my way because I have an engine to find these deals, then I'm not scared to lose a deal. So if one guy ends up, I have to go into litigation because he didn't pay me his monthly property or whatever the fee was, all right, sick the lawyer, he can go figure it out. But the other 8 guys, they're good. And the incentive for them to remain good with you is because you're going to find them the next deal. That's your job. That's your cap. So I think that is something that most people don't do because they're all about control. I don't care about control. I care about the control of finding the deal. Because I know at the inception of all this, if you have the power of real estate in this business is not syndication. The power is finding the deal. And if you're smart and you understand this business, then you can basically make the most amount of profit in the shortest span of time with the least, and this is the most important factor, amount of brain damage by doing this model. Put your energy in finding the deals, find strategic partners that are 10 million times more advanced than you. They got big pockets, major money. They got access to the debt. They got access to the management. They love construction. They're like all about boots on the ground. Give it to them. Take a small nugget, take a small piece and walk, because that is the smartest decision you'll ever make. You're going to be on an island. They're going to be in construction boots.
What's the key to you being able to find that deal over that person that's that experienced?
First of all, anyone that's fat, when I call experienced people, they're fat people. These people they're fed. They're not out there hunting. They got other people hunting for them, right? So I think the experienced people are not marketers. That's not their business. Their business, if you look at most people that own commercial real estate, they're in their late 40s or 50s plus. Most of the guys that are heavy hitters that have major assets, that's where they're at. These people are not tech people. These people don't know what's happening in the 21st century of 2021. They don't know what ringless voicemails are. They don't know what text messages are. They don't know how to do AI. These guys are dying for someone to come and do it. They're scared of people like me because they think I'm too clever. They think I might be trying to pull a fast one. So I don't even get them involved in it. I say, listen, I'll do the annoying work. I'll do the advertising. I'll find the deal. I'll tie it up. And then I'm going to take my 5 to maybe 30, 40% margin, and I'm going to trade it to you. And you can become the big whale. I'm the boss. I found the deal. I'm the controller. Go be the controller. I want to be the guy that says, goodbye, see you, pay me next month when it's due, give me my portion. When you refinance it, give me a call, cash me out. When you sell it, God bless you, pay me my profit. I'll exchange my money. Bye-bye. But until that point, I don't want to know you until I bring you another deal.
No, I understand that. I understand the philosophy. Now, tell me though, for the listener who's not that advanced either, or doesn't have the funds to invest in all the software, things like that, but give me some examples of, say, even the text message or ringless voicemail, some examples that have worked really well that the listener could use.
You mean the actual creative for marketing?
Right.
So this is easy. Okay, this is the trick with marketing. Marketing, you have to be a mad scientist. You have to not be scared, okay? When I first started marketing, I did mailers, physical mailers. There was no text in RVM when I started. And I probably spent $1, $1.20 a letter. And I sent, instead of sending a postcard, I sent a 3-4 page LOI. And I sat for months with my team, and I was trying to figure out how to create a formulation to actually value, like Z estimates for Zillow, how to come up with these valuations to just plaster everywhere in downtown LA, which was my first market, and just send out these LOIs, bulk offers at once, and just make everyone go crazy. And what we ended up doing is this was out of my brokerage firm. We created our own fund. That was the birth of Broadbridge, which is my real estate fund. And we partnered up with 6 partners. We said, all right, we have our own buyer. We have our own brokerage. Okay, we're going to represent the buyer. We're going to do our own deal. We're going to plaster these offers, which is basically what I did as an LOI, 3-page LOI, and we're going to get results. We ended up we killed it. We got a ton of feedback from the market compared to what we were doing prior. And the letter was simple. We gave them what you would assume in any other LOI. Fast forward, 10 years later, today, it's very, very efficient. We send a text that says this: hi, my name's Mike, and I don't even mention my real last name. I don't even mention my real business name because I don't need the FTC up my ass. And for those of you guys who want to be sticklers, good luck trying to figure out who I am. When I do cold marketing, which everyone does anyways, Okay, that's what people do with email blasts. Um, your brand is at jeopardy, and I think a lot of people are scared to blast message because they're scared of the integrity of their name. So what I would recommend you do is come up with an alias, because it's a cold marketing anyways. Send, hey, this is Mike with whatever real estate fund. Um, I'm interested in making an offer on your property located at blop. Now, we plug in the address, but here's another cool thing that we do that I think no one else does. When you farm out an area, the same dude might own 50 buildings in that area. And Reonomy will help you identify who's behind those LLCs. And once you do, what we do is we end up concatenating, we consolidate all those properties based on true identity. And when we text them, we show all their properties in that text. If the guy owns 50, it's one text message with all 50 properties, which I think is a massive savings, and also shows it intimidates the seller. They're like, why does this person know where all my buildings are? This is freaking me out. Who is this person?
And it shows you've done a little more homework too.
Correct. So you're just not another average Joe trying to reach out. So that's that. Then we, at the bottom of the messaging, we mention that we are strong buyers. I don't mention, I'm a quick close guy. I don't like going after desperate sellers. I like people with a lot of equity in their buildings, preferably no debt in their buildings, owned it for a very long time, so that I can really trade terms. I want terms. I take terms over price any day of the week. Tie up that building for as long as humanly possible, and then sit and decide, do I broker the deal? Is this a broker play? There's only 5% to be made. Do I assign it? Do I buy it? What do we do with it? So after you do that portion of the text, I think the last segment is giving them a call to action. So for us, the call to action is, if you're interested in selling, press 1 or say yes. If you're not, say press 2, say no. If this is the wrong guy, I'm sorry, press 3 and say, wrong. So we give them options, and even though those options are there, I'm going to tell you guys a secret. 80% of people, when you give them a call to action, they will implement that call to action in advertising, which is pretty crazy. Human psychology, if you leave it as an open-ended question, you're not going to get an effective response. So call to action at the end. The AI then takes place and then pre-qualifies those leads, which is a huge game changer. I'll leave you with another statistic that most people don't know. When you reach out to cold leads on their cell phones, you're generally going to get about an average on the first time you try of 10% of people respond. So if you send out 10,000 text messages, you're going to get 1,000 texts back. That's a big number. So if you're doing mailers, you're probably getting 0.5% to 1%. Text is 10 to 20 times. It's major. And it also costs 5 cents on the dollar. Sending a text might cost 5 cents. Sending a mailer is $1. So you can get far more outreach for far less money. And so that's another thing. When people do respond, that 10%, all right, I'll give you another golden nugget here for marketing. From the 10% that respond, generally you're going to get 1 to 3%, which is basically 10 to 30% of the people that respond are going to say they're interested. That's a huge number. So if you did 10,000 texts, you get 1,000 people respond, you can get up to 300 either interested or possibly interested maybes that are looking for an offer. And just like that, you just generated, if you go into LoopNet as your resource to look for deals, which is normal. Most people look at CoStar, LoopNet as primary places to look for on-market deals. Any market in the country, you won't find more than 0.5%, and I'm exaggerating, maybe 5% of the marketplace for sale. So it's very scarce inventory. And if you have 10,000 properties and there's only 200 for sale, and I'm exaggerating, let's say there's 200 for sale, and you just sent out a campaign to 10,000 of the asset owners, and you just generated 200 more potential deals, you just doubled the marketplace. If not, tripled or at least, expanded your outreach, and nobody else knows about these deals. This leads me to the next topic. I don't work with brokers, listing agents. People promote syndicators working with listing agents. I don't. The reason I don't is because it's a preferential behavior business. You have to suck some major and get to know these people and wine and dine them and show them that you're somebody before they even give you the time of day to give them their off-market deals. By circumventing brokers, which I love to do, using technology, I go direct to the source, and these brokers end up being perplexed. How'd you come across this deal? I have a personal army. I have a fleet that works for me, and they just bring me deals. That's what I end up telling them. So don't work with brokers. You don't need to work with brokers. What you need to do is increase your skill set a little and learn how to use technology. And for those of you guys who are broke or don't have the money, you should not be in this business. For those of you guys who have some money, I'm being honest. I'm not going to waste your time. If you don't have 10 grand, you need 10 grand to start this business. If you don't have $10,000 over the course of a year to deploy into commercial real estate, you will not survive. And the name of the game here is survive. If you want to survive, if you want to thrive, you have to survive. It takes the average person starting in real estate 1 year to 18 months to make some money, to breathe. And if you can't hold your breath for that long, don't start. Run away to the hills. This business is not for you. So for the beginners out there, it's not scary, but you got to have some tenacity, some chutzpah, some balls.
You got to keep treading water for a long time.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I don't think 18 months.
For a good while.
How long have you been in this, by the way, Sydney? How long have you been in this business?
I started in 2009 in small multifamily.
So that's over a decade. How long did it take you to make your first deal, your first nugget, your something, whatever kind of money that is for you in real estate?
Well, in the commercial space, it probably took, at least 18 months.
There you go. And you didn't make much, but at least, if you have a part-time job, I've had bartenders, Uber drivers work for me, start with nothing, get their license as a realtor, and now these guys are killing it. $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year in income, just trading deals. Not even, some of them started to buy real estate. I'm very proud of them, and that's great. But I'm just talking on a transactional level. It comes down to quality of life, or what I call QOLM, QOLM. Quality of life matters. If you don't have a quality of life, if you wake up every day and you're a slave to whatever your business is, you have a shit quality of life. So for me, regardless of how much money it is that you personally want to make in your life, I really focus on how to take away the headaches. And technology is your friend, guys. And again, if you're scared of it, don't be. Take it from me. I knew nothing about technology. I am not a nerdy, geeky guy. I'm a street smart guy. I'm a hustling kind of personality. I like talking to people, I like to be out there. But I fell in love after I suffered for a decade and dealt with personalities. I realized there is nothing that beats a robot. Your robot is your best friend. If you guys understand,
got to learn how to use tech. That's for sure. Everybody else is using it, so you better learn how to use it.
And people Michael, are not using it in commercial real estate.
We are way past time, but a few final questions for you.
Sure.
What are a few daily habits that you have that you're disciplined about that have helped you achieve success?
I try to do no more than 5 things a day. I use a software called Basecamp. It's a great tool. I recommend everyone use it. It's $100 a month. And what I do is I use Basecamp. I write my to-dos every Sunday night, and I try
for the whole week, or for the next day.
No, I do it for the whole week. I do it for the whole week because my brain can't do it every day. But what I do is I go in, I look at 3 to 5 tasks a day, and I say, I'm going to do these 3 to 5 tasks, and I'll feel like a king. So a lot of us try to overwhelm ourselves. They get inundated with data and emails and phone calls. Don't do that to yourself. Think about that qualm, that quality of life. So use a tool, whatever tool is good for you. Don't overwhelm yourself. Do 3 to 5 things, do them well. And every day I make it a point to learn something. I read a lot of books. I recommend you guys do the same. Listen to podcasts, go to YouTube, and educate yourself. There should be
That's some great advice. Yeah, focus on those few things. That's hard to do. Most of us, like you say, get overwhelmed with phone calls or emails, and that's not the most important thing that should be on our list. But what's the number one thing that's contributed to your success?
I'm a survivor. I believe in never giving up. I'm not a quitter. I've been in some very challenging places in life. I've been in lows of lows. I've had a lot of odds against me, a lot of people against me. And I'll just tell you, the only way to overcome all these things is have no fear. Always remind yourself there's someone a little further down the bunny hole that has it worse. So if you feel sorry for yourself, don't. If you feel like you didn't eat that steak today at that nice restaurant, that other guy's eating it, know that there's some kid, poor kid down the street doesn't have what to eat. Remind yourself extremities and keep that in the frontal lobe of your brain every day you live, and then you're going to become a fighter, and nothing will scare you, and you'll be able to become invincible. That's something that stuck with me that a mentor taught me. Fear is what sets you back, and the fear of failure is probably the biggest one. Chronically
Mhm.
keep telling you, what's the worst that could happen? I'm not in Iraq. I'm not in Syria. I live in America, the greatest country in the world. I live in the best place. I live in Miami. I go to the beach here. It's the most beautiful beach in the world. What am I to complain about? That this person is in a litigation with me, that these bills are stacking up. How am I going to deal with them? So they stack up. Stuff will happen. Life happens. Just
No doubt.
stay positive, and stay the
Staying
course.
positive. Yeah, so important. So important to keep that in mind. What you just said. What about how do you like to give back?
Give back. I think in Israel, and we learned something. Being Jewish, we teach tikkun, which means correction. We're here, purpose in this world. Everybody thinks differently. I think our purpose in this world is to correct ourselves. And in Judaism, we're taught that there's two forms of correction, positive and negative. There's traits that you were born with, Whitney, like this podcast. You're here to help people, enrich them with knowledge, with insight. That's one way that you can contribute, that I also contribute in my life, to your friends, to your circle, to your community. And then there's things that also contribute to the world, which are your negative traits. If you're impatient, if you're angry, if you're greedy, if you're envious, all of these negative traits, you need to work on yourself every day. And that's how you also contribute to your surroundings, because if when you're not a dick, that means you're nice. And if you're nice, someone else is feeding off your nice energy. So I would say focus on your internal self, focus on your good traits, look at yourself. I think the best thing you can do is, it's a tough question, sit with yourself, write 10 things that you're great at and 10 things that you suck at, that you hate about yourself, and just make that your goal. Enhance these 10 things, remove these 10 things. If you can do that, I think you're way ahead. And I think people don't sit with themselves enough to meditate, to focus on enhancing themselves, to be able to be a better contributing factor to their environment, to the world.
Michael, I appreciate meeting you and having you on the show, and really thinking through more of the lead gen side, the importance of the lead generation, finding deals, some ways you're doing it, the importance of the text mail or text mail, texting and ringless voicemail is what I was thinking. But those two things and the how much more powerful that is than say the mailers and things that people have been doing for years. And even now, you're talking about focusing on those 5 things every day. I just think some of that seems so simple, and it's even things that a lot of us know, but most of us do not implement those things. It's like we know that, but we just don't implement it. But wow, the things that can happen when we do. But Michael, where can the listeners get in touch with you and learn more about you?
Sure. I have 8 brands. Okay. So I think the first easiest spot is to find me by my name. michaelmakabi.com is my personal website. That will lead you to all of these other platforms. If you want to learn more about the lead generation, and if you want to become an affiliate, a partner with me, again, I'm at number 27. I'm looking to grow. There's room. And if you're anywhere in the country, I'm open, so long as you want to get into commercial real estate. Head to the number one, propertymarket.com. Again, onepropertymarket.com. And we can connect that way too. You can learn everything you need to know about the system, the platform, and we offer, again, white glove mentorship, hands-on. So if you're not tech savvy, if you don't understand how to get it and you want to skip the line, we offer services for that as well. Those would be your 2 best bets to get started with me. If you're interested, I'd love to learn more about you as well.
Awesome. That's a wrap, Michael. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. It was really great talking to you.